Good morning, everyone. This is Fight CPS with Mike Bartz, tactics, traps, and tricks of CPS. I'm your host, Mike Bartz. I am definitely not a lawyer. Matter of fact, if I give you some legal advice, do exactly the opposite of what I tell you. If you would need that confirmed, ask Mr. Davis. I have with me today Miss Christina Reynoso. You want to talk about the ultimate survivor? This woman, she started out in the system, and now her kids are in the system, her family's in the system, and I mean, a story from, how do I say this politely? A story from hell. Truly, it is agonizing to listen to. But anyways, hi, Christina.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you, Mike.
You doing good this morning, though?
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Anything you want to start off with, or anything you want to share with us?
No, just acknowledge my body. I'm in a lot of pain, but it's because when I buckle, it's because it's early. But I deal with. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Thank you.
How did you originally get into the system yourself?
I was right before my 14th birthday. It was like 1977, and
Okay. Now we know how old you are.
yeah. Well, it was 1977, and I believe that. So the reason I write a history of my upbringing is because the doctors have it wrong, like whoever, the different evaluations that I had to defend, is I did not run away from home. I was trafficked by strangers on both times from my mom, from the residence where I was. And at that time, there was so much around me. Like my mom had just got married and he was not nice. It had only been like a year, or since 75, July. And in that year, I'd went to like 5 schools in a year and a half, and
You
different
said
states.
five schools in a year and a half?
Yeah, because I had went from where my mom met John. It must have been summer. Then I went to 1, and then 2 in Vegas, and then Tucson, and then back to California. And I was pretty happy at the 5th school. And then that's where it's 1977. And so I was in a travel trailer by the highway. I was my 2 younger sisters. My mom and Dawn was in like a studio that it was just a 1 room. The bathroom was on the porch, and there was all these different trailers like in the yard or something like that. Because if you see the Mirror House, all these trailers, and then one guy I saw with his dog, it was bad. And I'd already went through something before, right when my mom got married. When I had my horse and Don beat my horse and I was sitting on him and he collapsed, and then we moved to Vegas. My mom had just got married and we sold my horse. But so at this point, so how to get in the system is, so I was kind of scared. I was failing history, and I don't know how I let myself just like wander with these 2 people. It was at a store by my school, and she looked like Valerie Bertinelli, and it was the store manager, and I went with him, and then they took me to a mountain, and then the next day we were on the other side of the mountain, and I went with Josie. I didn't really know her. She was out of Torrance. I thought she just looked like Valerie Bertinelli. And so we ended up in Vegas, and from a vehicle, like a couple days later, someone picked us up, in the middle of the night. We were sleeping in someone's Jeep that she was hanging out with, and in the alley. And then so I went to Child Haven or Juvenile Hall or somewhere I went. I think it was Juvenile Hall. And they put me on a bus. And then in Fresno, I was just I was waiting for the next bus, and someone asked if I was okay, and then the cops came. But then I was somehow I ended up back by my mom's, and then that was so they're seeing this as incorrigible, I guess. So that was the first time that Don convinces my mom to be like, don't let me ever come back because he's going to abuse my siblings or something like that. And so that was the first time. Then the second time, it was after summer, and there was a lot had happened, and I remember someone from school, and she's really pretty, like a Barbie pretty, because I used to play Barbies, like the best of Barbies. My aunt worked at Mattel Toys 12 years, and my cousins had the best Barbie toys, and I always just it was just fun. And so this girl, when I went to him, everyone was like a Barbie. It was so many like Barbie people. I was really happy. I had friends. My best friend, she kind of looked like Goldie Hawn and act like someone else, an actress. But so anyway, so I see her and I go with her and this guy who my mom had let this guy take me to the fair once, but I was not like, I just, it was innocent. And he bought me a necklace, but that's all I knew of this guy. And she had his chaperone, but he was an adult, and he and Deanna were in this car. And all I know is I'm in a car and they come out of the liquor store, and then we go to Ron's, and I remember there was a snake and I was afraid. I know they had a bottle of Southern Comfort. Well, in the morning I woke up and it was different, and I left. I had different clothes on. I was barefooted, and I was in Ron's parents' bed next to Ron, and I just left to go home. But I was really scared. I know I was scared. And then the neighbor girl named Brenda, I didn't know her, but she was in her old rancho. It was so early, and she just saw I was distraught, I guess, but she wanted me to go with, and I didn't know what go with, and we ended up going to Malad, Idaho, and Provo, Utah, and came back in a few days. So all that's my incorrigibleness. And then I'm not allowed back home after that. My Don says, don't let her come back home.
Okay, so how did you end up getting into CPS? I
Well,
mean, that's
when they take me, he threatened me. He said he was threatful, and he had already tried to French kiss me, and my mom had already, like, I got hurt because I saw it. So I was I was nervous because even when they first got married, he had said something to her, and I'm not gonna say who, but my head was banged on the front door. That was when I was 12, and I didn't do nothing. He was grinning, and he was just coercing my mom, who also was in the system, but apparently her parents had died when she was little and stuff. But all of a sudden I'm just at Satellite, and I'm made a they don't want me. They picked me up. I have all this documented, but I'm just trying to. I do. So I was not allowed. It was like Thanksgiving. They took my clothes, and they and Christmas there was no phone calls. January I had all my dollar gifts that I'd gotten. The Christmas tree at the shelter at the Satellite, it was just like they destroyed it. And I'd always liked Christmas. I still played with dolls. My mom still did my hair. I mean, I played with dolls at 12. I not played, but one time I remember doing school and there were some dolls. But so it's just I made a ward of the court, and for a whole, like, almost a year they keep me because they don't have a place for me in a place called Satellite, where they pick my clothes. The counselor was like I had bedroom eyes. So then from after 8 months of being a ward of the court, because I was not allowed home, so at the court in January, my stepdad doesn't let me sit with my siblings, and so I'm sitting in the front. It just happened so fast. I'm not allowed. There was no contact. And then when they give me my clothes, it was a box with hardly nothing, and my little brother's this, and stepdad's that. And so everything had just been gone. It was just so different, and I really missed my friends, and I'm like not even in Hemet. And so my heart was, I was just confused because I couldn't advocate what had happened. And my stepdad was going to make sure that I did not go home. So my mom was having a hard time with it all the time.
I know this is hard for you. I know it is. I can hear it in your voice. I can hear the pain in your voice. I can see the pain on your face. You do not have to continue. I mean, you can stop at any time. So this is by no means mandatory for you to keep going. So it's all you. It's on you, whether you want to keep going or not.
Okay. Thank you. I'm okay. Thank you.
I know you're going to be fine. I know you're tough as nails. You are. I mean, it's just amazing. But the one thing that I want to talk about that really has a lot to do with your case is the support system. Did you have any kind of support system behind you when you first went in?
No, and I was just reminiscing this morning, even when they sent me to my mom's, why didn't I have like a social worker? How you doing over there? You don't have a bed, and and this was the guy that had threatened your life and tried to touch you, and when I tried to say anything he did before, he told my mom something, and that's when I don't, my hair was wrapped around her wrist, and so I just no.
You don't have to keep. You don't have to keep going. You don't have to keep going because you're breaking my heart.
No. The answer is no.
All right. So you had no support system when you first went in. Do you have support system now?
Or when they released me after 3 years of not being in any contact, they just put me on a bus with just alone, and I'd already been shot up in the carnival, in and out 2 years, and just very heartbroken, and just you can't explain what had happened because I didn't know.
Christina, you're breaking my heart. You need to stop because I can't take very much more. I'll be crying with you. And I hate to say it, but my mother and father would roll over in their grave if they saw me sitting here sobbing and crying with you because I just want to get snot slinging for you.
It's always hard when I talk about that. I'm sorry.
No. You're breaking my heart. It's fine. It's a true story. It's, it happens to a lot of people in this country. It really does. And it's just heartbreaking. And you're fixing to trigger the protector in me. I just want to take people like you and just put you under my wing and just, take all the pain for you. I really do. I want to take it all in the teeth for you, and I want to take all your pain away, and I can't. And that breaks my heart. And I'm sorry that you got to suffer like this. And it's just hard. It's just hard to listen to your story. I've tried to listen to it a couple times now. If you remember the other day where you were on me and Darren's show.
Yeah, my hands were full, and it was windy, and the kids wanted me to put the crickets in, and I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't want to just crash it. I just need to, because I have the courage. I'm going to do this because there's so many lives that I don't know. I feel like this is okay. I'm doing this.
All right, let's change the subject a little bit here, so you can breathe for a second, okay? And you can regather yourself. Talk to me about some tricks, traps, and tactics that CPS used on you with your kids in the process. Do you have any that you can think of off the top of your head?
I think a trick that comes to mind is like in my case, there's 2 cases, one in California and one in Vegas. And so the one in California, what I know is a trick is I believe I was winning an appeal, and it would have exposed Vegas. It would expose the whole thing as for what it the truth. And I had waited like several months for the where you summon someone, and I had like 9, 11, 9, and three of them were from CPS, and including the one that it took with the baby. And this is like a different case, though. This is not Vegas. It's the one with my son Brad today. Yes, court, the one that's been abused by the adoptees and stuff. So, what I feel is a trick is, and the lawyer was later he like hung out with the judge, but anyways, he was nasty, but he by questioning me on the stand, because I was going to expose like so many mistakes in the county up there, and he says while my witnesses are in the waiting room, it's just because I want to get along, but my therapist had said the night before it's the spirit of cooperation. I'm like, okay, well, it's so important because I'm trying to get these, I'm going to do it. But he just, when I said I wanted to get along, all my witnesses were sent away. No one told me. They were gone. And I had waited several months. I have it all like documented. And I have all the things that what they're called, maybe not in this little packet, but in order to show that I had served him and everything to testify. And an expert witness from the sheriff's department that had believed me, and he said he couldn't be there, Doug, because they had sent him out of the area for something. And I think that's a trick.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a manipulation right there. I mean, that's just leaving you exposed, and they knew what they were doing. But yeah, I mean, there's just all kinds of traps, tactics, and tricks that CPS will pull on you. The number one thing that they do is they will separate you from your support system, and they will embarrass you, humiliate you, and they'll make you feel all these things so you don't talk to people, so you don't get people around you.
Well, one time, this social worker, and this is back to Nevada, my daughter that's with me now, that's got tummy problems and tried to tell and stuff. My girl is so she had cried and she wouldn't let go of me, and so she's being hurt by different. I can't say too much because I don't know who's. Well, anyways, and so she's just holding on. We're having visits in the laundry room, and they've already reported to 5 professionals, the 2 oldest, what had happened. And the Attorney General, Bob Dunson, investigator, and Carol Facilio both said they believed me. But then that night, the Henderson police, they're just on assumptions, opinions, and lies. We've never went to court. I've never seen a CPS worker, only via telephone. And I'm going to talk about her in a second because she tells me she's the one that took the call. But well, anyways, Carol, this is like, they've already reported it in September. I've already been saying it's in even June. My daughter went to the hospital. So this is June, July, August, September. And October, I think it might have been October, November, December. It was after, because I write about October, November, December, little how I went home and tried, and I wrote all this history. But I remember Carol telling me in the back of a car that I was a bad mother. She was just like, it was horrible. You're a bad. She's looking in the river mirror. I've struggled to get there. My baby's crying, and I've already suspected stuff because I interviewed her the year before, and she told me stuff. And she's just like, you're a bad mother, and I'm the one that took the first call, and that was just nasty. She shouldn't be allowed to grade me like that while I'm,
right.
I can't protect my baby and we're driving away. And she was being violated still in the home.
Take a breath. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're in a safe place here.
Like when the lady says that and we walk away and I can't protect her. And then when the little baby, she's 4. And then when she turns 12, 11, 12, there's nude pictures found of her in Mike's room, and the kids run away and come to me to California. And because they've already pretty much gave someone off the babies that they shouldn't have, because there's 2 suspects. My paperwork from the sheriff guy, who was evidence department, Doug, we'll say Doug. He was an investigator with evidence, and the one that said he believed me. I'm losing my thought. But she was 12, and so they had already, because he had already said that no one would have been paying attention so it was 2000 when I lost the California. So this is like 2005, 5 years later. Nobody was gonna. We didn't get help, and it's still. I can't go into it because it's another stuff. So I'll stop.
I understand. That's a totally different subject, and it's active right now. That case is active.
No, what it is though is someone because the last time I was there, I was just with my boy and no one helping us, and I was so desperate because he'd been in the car and he'd socked me. It was just his disease, and no one, the sheriff saying that's not what's happening and we're not going to help you. But he was the same guy that was the boss of the colleague that ignored my daughter. I guess I'm gonna put names out there. Lauren, who had told when I sent that to Washington D.C. and but Washington wants all of it, but he was the boss of the lady who denied my daughter because, well, the judge had already given Frank the 2 babies. Then you interview Lauren, and she says Frank, Grandpa does that, and so they're not gonna. And then the judge flew with Frank that day because he was going on Christmas vacation, and Frank's going back with the babies. And there's something very violent that happened at the motel I saw on the baby, and that baby now says. She's an adult, but he had custody. I think my dad hurt me. Now that guy's the one that strangled me, and if he sees this or hears this, he tried to kill me for sticking up for my babies. But he's dangerous. Yeah. But anyways, see, I get scattered. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're safe here with me. We can shut the whole broadcast down at any time if you're getting too nervous and too stressed over it.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. You can stop anytime. You don't have to say a word. You can just
I just don't know if I'm saying too much or if I
understand. No,
okay.
I understand 100%.
Okay.
That, and really, if you have an active case, you really shouldn't.
No, it's not. It's the active. That's what I'm saying. It's like they're waiting for it and the Department of Justice, but now with the Congressman Vasquez. But the reason I didn't send it to Department of Justice, the rest yet, or what I've caught up with, and then in Delnar. So what I was saying with my son being, it was horrible. And I just said, why can't you help me? He's still victimized. And I went from here to there, and it was kind of humiliating, but I was just so desperate because I was kind of scared to traffic him to New Mexico because he'd already socked me when I was driving, denied any kind of help. That he said, you can't call the ambulance. And I just picked him up from a hospital in Vegas. He'd been there 2 months. And he said he wanted to hitchhike there. So that's where he was adopted. But no one, I did. So after 2 months of that, I was nervous to bring him back. So, because he had socked me, he's in his brain disease. And anyways, and he's angry because he was abused different ways by the adoptees thrown across the room and this and that. And he's angry toward me. And so I went and I ended up at DA because I needed a pencil to write that they took my license plate and my ticket, and I was whatever it was, I had business before I left, but everything was shut down, so I needed a pen. So I went to the DA or the victim witness, and then I get a pen, and I'm like, why do I have to walk by this victim advocate, there's people in there when this is continuing from Brad being kidnapped from my babysitter and then, on the side of the road, why am I going and no help for his nowhere? Why? And so I'm communicating that, but I'm very emotional and he's been sleeping in a car and I'd almost died from COVID. And so I ended up at county council where I had already tried. I had went to the mayor back and forth with my material. Can we help? I don't have a place with Brad. And he really needs help. And they shut the case when he was 17, before he turned 18. We didn't have a place. I'm not the one that raised him. It's because his lawyer became judge, and but that was nasty because he didn't have a place. The adoptive parent was the abuser, had thrown him and different stuff. And so, what am I saying is, so when I go into county council, I'd already been there, and they go, "This is only for a broken window." So now because I've mentioned to the police, like, my kid said this and this and this and this, and where's the paperwork? Because when the one guy told me to go to the police, I go, really? Even if it's that old and they've assaulted me and denied my daughter, I said, and he was all ninjaed out, like trying to protect whoever, because I'm just probably weirded him out, and I go, I'm going to do what you said then, okay? And I went across the street and I tell the cop and I go, do you have paperwork to file for this person and that? He goes, we don't for this here, but we got it for the police here. I go, I need 3 or 2. So he gave me that paperwork, and because we were leaving, I was 2 months and I was bringing him to New Mexico, and I go to county council and because he said to get the other paperwork, and I'm saying, my daughter said this and was ignored, and my son and this and that. And I'm putting all this info, and I said, and you said you only help with window, but they're sending me here. And she said, get us your stuff and we'll give it to risk management. And I've done risk management and claims with like over a futon for Walmart. So that kind of triggered, like, I'm like, okay, so but right now there's a piece that's missing. It's the first investigation from the first 2 detectives that were really foul. And because it's missing and Carson sending me the part back, and it's very important because it was my daughter's first chance when she was speaking, and Detective Marin's like, when I'm like, why are you sending us home? Didn't she say what I said? He laughs. Yeah, she said what you said. But it's Detective Shoemaker who interviewed her who's foul. And anyway,
Don't use any names, please. Don't use any names.
okay.
I'll get
Yeah.
chewed out for
So,
that.
okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, so I'm
But
not
that's
trying
like
to
in
interrupt.
1990. But that's like in 1995. What I'm talking about.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to interrupt you, but um
I'm
your
sorry.
story has so many different aspects to it and
Yeah.
so many tragic turns and twists. It is painful to listen to. It really truly is. Like I said, you're triggering my protective mode. I just want to, come over and just tuck you under my. Where you live? Where are you from?
So I'm here in New Mexico.
Mexico.
Actually blessed because I'm doing a documented history of my mom's upbrought. Um, and how she was orphaned out. It's like I think she's part of the red paint people with Geronimo, and I
Right.
prove it through the different tribes and forefathers and gold.
Okay.
And anyways, I don't want to say too much with that as
Right.
well.
Okay. Okay. Now this show is about tactics, traps, and tricks of CPS. Um, I want to get you to where you can relax a little bit and take a breath um, and just try to change the subject a little bit here for you.
Okay.
Um, do you have any tactics,
Well,
traps?
like also, like how CPS that were the counselor for the 2 babies who the daughter who had reported the guy who they give him
Okay,
the babies.
what's the
She, huh? The CPS social worker becomes their counselor, and their counselor becomes a CPS uh like supervisor. They're the supervisors, and I don't think that's cool. Do you hear me? Hello?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize my microphone was off. I'm sorry, I was sitting there talking away.
But I said that, so I think it's a trick or a task, whatever, that, and also that the lady who, so the two, when you got a hotline, you got this one, Carol, I won't say, and then for California and Nevada, and then 7 years later, you got a hotline and you got another Carol answering the phone. These two are foul, and this Carol over here in Cali, she becomes a social worker, and she straight up ignored my daughter before I got him taken away. And my lawyer said, with the 85-cent question, "What did you do?" Because I didn't know my daughter had told this lady all this stuff. And she goes, "I didn't do anything," because she threw her hands up nonchalantly. So she ignored my daughter. So that social worker who basically fed us to the whole, because she didn't protect us when I was asking for help in the home, and that's different situation. Instead, and so she's a counselor, but what I'm talking about is, so my kids, right? My daughter's saying so and so hurt her, so they gave him the kids. So now they're in counseling. And so whatever these two say, they're saying it to the CPS who took my kids, the boss, and then the boss that they were in counsel over there, Squire, is now the head of CPS. It's just they went across the street, and I think that's horrible. And
now, what I was saying when my microphone was dead was the supervisors are the final say in the whole system, aren't they?
yeah, so basically, yeah, and there was something else that came to mind, and I kind of lost my thought, but it was another trick or something. Oh, like when they took the kids, the night before, like I was moving out of a place and I found this really nice place, and the lady had helped me, and then so I'd asked, she said, ask for 2 days extension to get into your house. I said, okay, because I went to court because they told me to leave, but they said that we'd exercise as our rental, but that was a lie because really me and my family, we should have been removed from the environment because it was unsanitary on different levels. Fire was sparking out. I was falling down the stairs. I'd rented it over the phone, and the carpet was foul. And so, for all those reasons, they should have removed us together. Not so my kids are taken later. I'm trying to get all this help, and so, but I found a place. And 2 day, I got the day before my second day, which the CPS had said, ask for that extension and make sure it's okay. And the landlord, I said, okay. And so the day that I'm supposed to move out of a two-story with everything, she says, I can't help you today. And I didn't have anyone to help me with the stuff. They had been taking my kids to daycare to help me. And I'm like, okay. But this day she's just like, not today. And I'm like, wow. And I didn't know people. So this girl that had been on the reservation, who her mother was a spokesman for the Siskiyou Indians. It's a big deal. She's in a movie with Johnny Depp. She was one of the whatever. Her mother, that was her mother. So Nadine, and she was the one helping me to while we're moving. And in the morning, while I'm moving out and stuff, I'm not going to go into that because I have to block that. But in the morning, the CPS come, and because the kids were at one, she helped me. There was no light. I was raining, and I was trying to pack everything, trying to be out by 8. There was no light. I was just putting in the truck, getting it to the motel. I had 2 kids over here, 2 kids at the motel. I bought a lot of pizzas. Say I'll pay you $10 an hour to this one, and so in the morning she goes, because it's 20 minutes. I couldn't get all the stuff out. So I fell asleep, but I took my stuff across the street in a garage, and I blocked the doorway. So the guy says, you better move it before my sister comes home. So I'm moving it. And in that time frame, Sandy, the one that, whatever, is come over and one of the babysitters wanted the cigarettes. Nadine said, "I'm not getting her cigarettes. She's 15." So we didn't get her cigarettes, but she's at the motel. And so she early in the morning is looking for me. And um and so I tell my friend Becky what I'm doing. I'm moving the stuff. So she communicates to her. She somehow is asking for a ride from CPS or something because she lives across the streets to leave the motel. Maybe her mom's going to give her a cigarette. But in that phone call, CPS County has got my kids in the van. They won't let Jessica take them in the house to give them breakfast, and they take them away. And then I pulled up the nasty carpet because it shouldn't come down to this. There's roly-polies. This carpet looks like mud, chocolate, coffee. Why are we just evicted? Like, it smells. No. And so I want to take it to the health department or something, and I pulled up the carpet, and Nadine's upset because she's like, didn't want to really be involved. So in the morning when they had the kids, and I'm sitting in her front room, and her dad's had like a stroke because we had the truck. He had to be rushed to the hospital, and she's like, "Don't tell him anything." I'm on her phone. So I just hang up, and what am I talking about? I'm talking too much, right?
No,
I
you're
don't know.
fine. You said cigarette, so I lit up one. I don't want to smoke on the show. So
So that's how they got the California kids, and that's that lady. Her name was, and then she becomes a therapist. And Sandy, I don't know, but it's just nasty because she would trick me, Sandy. I was trying to run from an abuser, and I was
see
trying to,
that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm just trying to nail down
and
some
she'd be
tricks,
like,
traps, and trick
"You want
tactics.
to call on the phone? You want to call him?" I'm like, "Why? He strangled me. My daughter says this. Why do you want me to use your cell phone and try to call him?" So, and then he ended up with the kids before the trial, and I
Hey,
don't like that.
Christina,
But
you're on a show. You're on the show this afternoon, aren't you?
yeah,
Who you on with? Do you know?
I think, and
Darren,
Darren.
me and
Yeah,
Darren. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to cut you off, but this has gone completely different direction than what I wanted it to, because
Sure.
this is supposed to be about tactics, traps, and tricks. And all you did was break my heart. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I can continue the show.
Okay.
You broke my heart. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to help you. I'm hoping that you're in touch with Mr. Davis, and I'm hoping Mr. Davis is helping you. And I know you just want to get your story out.
No, I don't even know that. I don't even know. I just know that I'm desperate with the, not desperate. It's just it,
You're full of anxiety. You're stressed. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I can hear it, and I'm sure my watchers and listeners can see it and hear it as well. And I'm sure that they're all praying for you, and their hearts are broken for you. But I just want to thank you for coming on my show this morning. I'm going to go ahead and see if Grace has somebody else coming on, and if so, I'm just going to go ahead and park you into the green room if that's fine.
okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
if you don't mind. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, folks, as you can tell, CPS or DSS, where I'm from, they're vicious, they're manipulative, they're evil. And you have to spread the word, folks. Even the people that's not involved. I mean, look at Christina. She started out as a child in the system, and now her children are in the system, or her family members are in the system. It's absolutely atrocious, and it's painful to listen to. These people need help. These people need to know that there's other people out there with them, and that we're here to protect them as much as we can. And the most we can ask for is slow this organization down. I mean, I know there's people out there like my partner on Men in the Trenches, and Dr. Fowler and all that crew. They're out to eliminate them. And honestly, I mean, I think they've got a long road to go, and I think it's an uphill battle, which they're willing to do. Which I bless them for it, and I love them for it. Which is my ultimate dream would be to shut this organization down. But honestly, I think the best we can do and hope for right now is just to slow these people down. If we slow them down by just information, passing the word, Get the word out. Do not talk to these people. If you're involved with them, get yourself a support system. It's just they're evil. Susanna sent me an email from my last show, and Suzanne said that her support system is huge, and that I have to agree with. I mean, you have to have a support system. If I had one, maybe two people in my support system, and I was very grateful for them, but I couldn't imagine having a complete support system through this whole thing. It's got to be invaluable because, like Suzanne said, it was humiliating. It was embarrassing to even admit that your child was taken by DSS or CPS. And that's what they count on. And that's another one of their tactics is they count on you feeling humiliated. Matter of fact, they will send emails and letters out to family, friends, and associates off of social media just to keep you embarrassed and keep you on your heels and not, let you gain any ground. They want you to fight a fight that you really shouldn't be fighting. The fight is to get your child back, not, avoiding embarrassment and not avoiding, but the best word is embarrassment. These people will just keep you on your heels and they will manipulate you. And that is one of their biggest manipulations is they will put all your business out there in all these stupid little letters that they send out to all these folks. Honestly, they sent letters to, let's see, my mom passed away in 1999. My dad remarried. And the woman he remarried has a daughter. I've never personally met this woman. I've never personally spoke to this woman. I don't know anything about this woman. Don't care to know anything about this woman. But they sent her a letter. The daughter of my dad's second wife. I mean, come on. Who's this lady? I don't know her. Why would they send her a letter? I don't know how they associated her on social media because we're not connected. So I have no idea how they even, attempted to do that. Now I do know that we turned in names of people that we wanted to be the foster, to put our daughter with as foster care. And they rejected one, which is a family friend, who was actually my daughter's, I want to say step grandmother, but she actually had more involvement in my life, my wife's life, prior to my daughter being born and after my daughter was born than her own real grandmother. I mean, this woman was amazing, but yet they turned her down because she's 64 years old. Now, I don't know if you know anything about me personally, but I'm 60 years old. And they shot her down, and what I was being told was because she was 64 years old. So what does that say about me at 60? Am I too old to have a child? I mean, come on, folks. I mean, talk about gaslighting and manipulation. I mean, they will do everything they can to humiliate you and to embarrass you. It's like, why is my age an issue? Because I'm married to a woman 30 years my junior. That's none of your business. Now bug out. I mean, that's the way I took it. That was the attitude I took. But yeah, so that's one of their tricks and traps. They will humiliate you. They'll embarrass you. If you have any pride whatsoever, stick it in your back pocket, forget about it. Because it just costs you immensely. It costs you everything. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring this show to an end. Grace, if you could put the music up and bring this show to an end, I'd greatly appreciate it. But I just want to tell you that I'll be here Friday, folks. So Friday at 11 o'clock, pass the word, share the news, and make sure you share your information on CPS and DSS. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.